Las Vegas, Nevada, the city that never sleeps, about 10 miles north of the Strip. It's the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Smith's Las Vegas 350. Hello everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons. Now, in the 10 previous races here, starting from the pole has been very beneficial. 4 times the winner has come from that first starting position. But Phil, I'm guessing you're going to say it doesn't really matter.
The only thing that matters at this racetrack is what happened last year, because this was a completely reconfigured, redone racetrack for the 2006 season. So anything happened prior to that just happened to be at the same facility. But what a great job they did here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You know, early on in practice last year, everyone ran right on the bottom of the racetrack. They said it's too rough, we're not going to see good racing. As soon as the green flag dropped, trucks went everywhere, 3 wide, all over the racetrack. We had a terrific show, and I look for the same thing here this year.
Can Ron Hornaday come from the middle of the pack and try to get Mike Skinner, who starts on the outside of row number 1? Our 2 guys that are separated by 29 points.
He's all the way back in 15th and quite frankly struggled a little bit in practice, but he kept maintaining that he felt like his truck was pretty good. But he did not qualify that well. He did not have good practice speeds, but he did finish in the top 5 here last year, as well as Mike Skinner, who won the race. So, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of racetrack you're on, whether they reconfigured or not. The guys that run well are going to run well and adapt to the different racetracks.
Well, and when we're talking about talented drivers, I think what you're mentioning there, we've got a guy named Jacques Villeneuve who is racing his very first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he qualified 7th, first time out.
And that was the first time with 1,600 miles of testing at Chicago and here and everywhere he's been. That's the run, and he qualifies 7th. That shows you how much talent that cat has.
And Buddy Lazier, also from the open wheel ranks, is going to be racing his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here tonight. So we're going to be able to watch a lot of great racing around this 1.5-mile track. Let's start it off with our Invocation and National Anthem.
Please rise. And gentlemen, remove your hats for the presentation of the colors by the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard. Join Las Vegas Motor Speedway chaplain Kenny Farmer with today's invocation, and remain standing for the national anthem to be performed by Miss Mary Wilson, one of the original Supremes. Kenny.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the blessings that you give us. Father, we pray for these drivers and crews as they compete tonight. Maybe we'll be with them every mile. Father, we pray for our fire and safety team. Father, give them the ability to do their jobs to the very best. Father, we lift up our men and women around the world that are in the military, that put their lives on the line every day for us to be able to enjoy this sport that we love so much. We ask all this in your name, Father. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mary Wilson, one of the original.
Another spectacular crowd on hand to witness what can only be described as excitement in Vegas.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the Ford F-150, built for tough, by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Fastenal. We get it right.
Compton, welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada. Just off the backstretch, Nellis Air Force Base. Located less than a half-mile from the backstretch. They actually call our backstretch Nellis Straightaway. They say this is a cold day in Las Vegas, Nevada for this time of the year. 71 degrees. The sky's fairly clear, so we don't expect any moisture. We did see some moisture this morning. Some rain fell before the sun came up, and they dried the track, and we were able to continue on with everything that was scheduled for today. The Ford point standings through 18 races. Ron Hornaday took over the lead 2 races ago, and he hasn't looked back. 29 points now over Skinner.
I'm telling you, 271 points for Travis Kvapil, 298 for Ty Bodine. You know, they're on the outside looking in. Johnny Benson in 5th right now. I just think there's no way with the limited amount of races we have to go.
Phil, I really want you to talk a little bit about our waste management track description, since you are the biggest advocate of everything prior to last year doesn't mean anything because of this new configuration.
Absolutely. You see the banking in the corners 20 degrees. It used to be 12 degrees, which is flat. As far as a race car driver goes, a front straightaway, back straightaway, now banked 9 degrees. Front straightaway, 2,275 feet. One of the fastest racetracks that we run. Speeds upwards of 185 miles an hour on the straightaways here.
They'll be moving very quickly as we look at our MSD ignition race analysis. Again, 36 trucks will be starting tonight's race. It's 219 miles, 146 laps. And the number that you're probably asking is, why do they call it the 350? Well, that's 350 kilometers. Our pit window looking to be around 60 to 65 laps. Let's fire the engines. Let's go down for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in motorsports, let's welcome Big Machine recording artist, Miss Danielle Peck.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The big show of the night is about to get underway. The curtain is going up, and the drivers are about to start onto the racetrack. The engines are fired. The fans are ready. We're ready. We'll be right back for the green flag. Shadows becoming longer as the sun is beginning to set on this racetrack. The lights are on, and the fireworks about to begin as the trucks are all in line. We take a look at our starting grid. It will roll across the bottom of the screen. Again, Travis Kvapil with his 4th career pole. He will start on the pole. Last year, it was Mike Skinner who started on the pole, and he went on to victory lane. Well, Mike Skinner will start on the outside of row number 1 tonight. We're going to be shining a spotlight on a few different drivers. We're going to start with Brett Thompson. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, Brett is from Idaho, and he primarily runs in the NASCAR West Series. He competed there full-time this year, but he does have sights set on coming full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series sometime in the near future. Now, the truck that he's driving tonight, he's already raced once this year. He ran it in Indianapolis, and he said, I knew we needed a nice new body on this truck before we went Speedway racing, so I ran into about everything but the pace car at Indy. But Brett Thompson will roll off in the number 61 truck tonight here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and he will be starting in 31st. Adam?
TJ Bell rolls off 10th tonight, and so much is made of Brendan Gaughan when we come to Las Vegas. Of course, that is his hometown. Well, TJ, a Las Vegas area native as well. He calls Sparks, Nevada his hometown, and Heathcliff's Cat Litter is the sponsor on that number 50 truck. They're headquartered in Las Vegas. He would love nothing more than to bring them a solid run here tonight. He's got a great starting spot, and tonight he looks for his 2nd top 10 of 2007. Phil, who are you shining your light on tonight?
Adam, I want to take a look at the number 4 Open Joyce Dodge, driven by Kevin Hamlin. Kevin's going to give this truck a ride for the 4th time this year. He had a 10th earlier this year at Mansfield. Just re-signed with Chip Ganassi Racing to another driver development contract for next year. Not sure exactly what kind of racing he's going to do, but he is under the Ganassi banner. Loves riding this truck for Bobby Hamilton Racing. Going to start 12th. Good run so far for Kevin Hamlin. Rick Allen.
I'm going to shine my spotlight tonight on the energy drink, the Hooters energy drink of Jason White. Jason White is going to start in the 30th position tonight. Now, he has 15 races in his repertoire this year already. He's finished 22nd twice already. His career best is 13th, but that was back in 2001 at Martinsville. So he's looking to improve on a 22nd place finish here in the 2007 season. We're right along with a few different drivers, one of those being Josh Wise in the Aaron's Dream Machine. That Toyota Tundra is going to start in the 23rd position, so we'll see if Josh Wise can move up through the field.
We're also going to ride along with 17-time Craftsman Truck Series winner Dennis Setzer, going to make his first start in a Dodge since 2000. Going to drive Bobby Hamilton's Dodger. Dennis will start from the 17th position.
A lot has been made with the other driver that we're going to be riding along with. Brendan Gaughan will start in the 13th position. His shop just, well, as Ray mentioned earlier, about a wedge distance from the racetrack on the track grounds. And so Brendan Gaughan going to see if he can get another win here in the Las Vegas area.
Talk about a resume. Indy 500 winner, kart champion, Formula One winner, Jacques Villeneuve. We're going to ride along as he makes his NASCAR debut here in the Craftsman Truck Series. Great qualifying effort, qualified 7th for his first ever NASCAR start.
In the open wheel ranks that have come into the NASCAR field, most notably Juan Pablo Montoya making the transition and has had success. Won in NASCAR earlier. We take a look at his resume for Villeneuve, the 500 winner, as you mentioned, kart champion, world champion. I mean, that is very big for NASCAR to have that type of, that caliber of a racer coming in to make this his career.
Yeah, tremendous shot in the arm for all of NASCAR, and especially here in the Craftsman Truck Series. And we've got another open wheel driver with impressive credentials. Indy 500 winner, IRL champion in 2000. Buddy Lazier will make his first ever NASCAR start. Actually tested a couple years ago for Billy Ballou at Charlotte. Didn't get anything put together then, but it's got to put together here. He's going to drive the Flanders beef patties Chevrolet for Billy Ballou. And he has to go to the back of the pack because of spinning out during qualifying.
Again, we're going to be keeping our eye on the 15 of Buddy Lazier as well as that 27 of Jacques Villeneuve all night long. It looks as though the 77 of Brendan Gaughan maybe indexing his wheel. Let's go to thoughts before green. Ray Dunlap, what have you got?
Well, Rick, let's talk about a great record at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we're talking about Jack Sprague. He went first, second, and second in his first 5 races here. And when you talk about Sprague, he's led 298 laps at this racetrack. But when you look at his last 4 starts here, he hasn't led a lap, and things have not been going very well for the Conway Toyota team, and these guys really need to try to turn something around. But Sprague is having a little bit of trouble getting this racetrack figured out since they've reconfigured it. Today, he will roll off in 28th position. We'll keep our eye on that number 60 tonight and see if Sprague can work his way to the front. Adam?
Another guy we'll be watching all night long is pole sitter Travis Kvapil on the pole for the 4th time in his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series career. You know, just over a week ago it was announced he would go Nextel Cup Racing next year for Yates Racing. A tough week for him in the truck last week has him 271 points out of the Truck Series championship lead. But he hasn't given up yet, and some confidence here tonight. And the reason why, he's driving the same truck that he raced with at Michigan. Started on the pole, led 18 laps, and won the race. Started 11th at Nashville, led 47 laps and went to victory lane. And on the pole here again tonight with chassis number 43, he's confident, and guys, he's starting on the pole position.
And that is a very prime spot as far as if you're going to, you know, have an interesting seat at the start of this race. There are a lot of people filling the seats here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They do a spectacular job of promoting this event. And again, we've got a phenomenal crowd here. It was upwards of 50,000 people here last year, and it looks like that's going to be contested again this year. For the first time ever in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, as well as the first time in the top 3 series of NASCAR, we have a female official starter. That is Kim Lopez, who will be doing the duties tonight. Again, a few different officials have taken over since the passing of Dennis James earlier. Series director Wayne Aughton made the comment to me earlier, we're not going to announce who our full-time starter will be until the 2008 season. We're paying our respects still to Dennis James. Field coming through turns 3 and 4. We're about to get underway with event number 19 of the 2007 season. Travis Kvapil, Mike Skinner making up row number 1. It is about time for the fireworks to start here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The green flag is out and we're racing.
Mike Skinner's going to fight back on the outside. There is a groove down there on the outside.
There was a question mark a year ago. Can they go 2 and 3 wide? That question was answered on lap number 1, and it again looks as though we're going to stay 2 wide around this racetrack.
Bodine pulls up behind Mike Skinner, gives him a little draft. Looks like Mike Skinner may get this first lap here.
Skinner with an impressive start here. He goes in front of Travis Kvapil. Kvapil tucks in behind. Skinner leads lap number 1 in Vegas.
And 5 bonus.
That knocks that gap down just 5 points. It was 29 coming into tonight's race. And again, Hornaday way back in the field starting 15th, but he is on the move toward the front. He made the comment earlier in qualifying, we think we've got a good setup for the race.
He's trying to pass the 07 of Tim Sauter. There's Matt Kraft on the 88 right behind him. Gray, what's Hornaday saying on the radio?
Well, he said before the race even began, Phil, that he's really happy about the way the truck turns in the corner. It goes everywhere he wants it to. He was happy with it. The only problem was he was flat-footed most of the way around here, and it just wasn't making any speed when they were running individual single laps and trying to get ready for qualifying. But I have a feeling that they're going to be okay here as he tries to settle in a little bit, and this racetrack is changing right now. We're about to have full shade all the way around the racetrack, and throughout practice today and during qualifying, we had bright sunshine.
We used to automatically think that when a racetrack got cooler, you got more grip and the trucks would tighten up. Not so here at Las Vegas. Last year, most of the crew chiefs and drivers said this track actually got looser the darker and cooler it got.
Well, amazingly enough, too, Phil, in practice, we do not normally see trucks running like this. Right now, Mike Skinner, Travis Kvapil are nose to tail, very close together. In practice, you see them spread out all over the racetrack. So it's really got to be a little bit different handling.
He really is. But again, Mike Skinner was here last year. He won that race. Travis Kvapil's never been here before today and sat on the pole.
Look who's on the move. Jacques Villeneuve moving up toward the front. Adam.
Well, and he actually had dropped back a handful of positions after starting 7th. He was back to 17th in the running order. That's where he sits right now. Very cool and calm in the opening laps. Spotters taking him through, telling him to hold his line, and that he will be good as the night goes on. Villeneuve came back on the radio, said truck is very loose.
Jacques Villeneuve is here to learn. Sure, he'd love to win the race, but that's not what his primary objective is, and that's what really impresses me about Jacques Villeneuve and Buddy Lazier. They know they have a steep learning curve. As good as they are, as impressive as their careers have been, Jacques Villeneuve, with all the testing he's done, and Slugger Lobby told me 1,600 miles, he's never raced around any other truck, so it's all new experience for him.
That's the impressive thing is they talk about the big picture. I've got to get seat time. I've got to get track time. And what better place than to learn right here at the Craftsman Truck Series. Look at this. Travis Kvapil going onto the apron, takes the top spot away from Skinner.
Yeah, Travis Kvapil's going to make a statement. I had the best truck in practice. I had the best truck in qualifying, and I've got the best truck for this race. Travis Kvapil very, very optimistic and is confident, I think, as I've ever seen Travis Kvapil coming into a race.
Here comes Todd Bodine. He's looking to take second away from Skinner. Pokes the nose underneath the 5 of Mike Skinner, and so now Skinner drops back to 3rd. Adam, are they worried about something?
And yes, they are, Rick. After Kvapil went around Skinner, Skinner came on the radio and said, right front going down, right front going down. Right after that, you guys talked about Todd Bodine going around for position, and he's got more company in his back door now. Chad McCumbee trying to go around Skinner. Issues early for the championship contender.
Amazingly enough, only 8 laps into this race, and Skinner already worried about that right front tire.
It looks like his truck is really tight right now. You see in the center of the cone, he has to chase the truck up the hill. There's Buddy Lazier right there. Had to go to the back of the pack. Currently being shown right now in the 32nd position in Billy Ballou's truck.
Yeah, those are our open wheelers, Jacques Villeneuve and Buddy Lazier, jumping into the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
But he's the 6th different driver to drive this truck this year, Billy Ballou's truck. They won with Shane Neal back a few years ago with this very truck.
We talk about the woes of Mike Skinner. Well, Ron Hornaday, who started 15th, has already made his way up into the top 10. And so that points battle between Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner looks as though that gap might get a little bit larger tonight.
But it was there, looks to the inside of Brett Thompson in the 61. Good side-by-side racing. Good experience for Buddy Lazier here in the Truck Series. Here comes Eric Darnell, going to try to take over the 4th position from Skinner.
Darnell rides a little bit higher line. Skinner maybe a little more hesitant if he thinks that right front tire is headed down. As Darnell moves into the top 4, his teammate Travis Kvapil leading the field around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bodine, McCumbee, Darnell, and Skinner rounding out our top 5. Smith's Las Vegas 350 continuing. It's been Travis Kvapil ever since he's taken over the top spot from Mike Skinner. Skinner has dropped back because of issues. He feels like his right front tire may be going down. And as he is going back, Todd Bodine has reeled in Travis Kvapil. As strong as Kvapil's truck is, Todd Bodine looks even stronger.
Yeah, Todd was a couple tenths of a second quicker that time than Travis Kvapil. Mike Hillman Sr., team manager for Germain Racing, said they had an excellent truck. He's right.
Todd Bodine won this one at this racetrack back in 2005. That was under the different configuration when it was just 12 degrees of banking in the corners, not the 20 degrees that we have now. So Todd Bodine looking to grab a second win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Kvapil with a very strong truck all through practice. He was able to grab the front spot, his 4th career pole. And Todd Bodine starting this race in 4th. Currently in the 3rd spot. Chad McCumbee with a very impressive run here, Phil.
Boy, he really is. Chad did a great job qualifying, had a good run, was good in practice, giving that 8 truck the best ride it's ever had.
Right behind Chad, the 21 of John Wood.
You know, that's the Air Force sponsored truck right there. You know, it's the September 18th was the 60th anniversary of the U.S. Air Force, and we've got 400 airmen and women and their families here in attendance tonight.
Isn't it amazing? You think back to 60 years ago. We're talking 1947, and we had an Air Force back then.
That's right.
In 1947, very impressive. We actually spent a little time with an Air Force officer while we were down here, and gave us a little more perspective on what takes place with combat controllers. And so we wanted to thank, they call him Pimp, a good friend of ours, actually a friend of Brendan Gaughan. He's always with him at the team. We continue to drop back and look through the field just a bit, as now Travis Kvapil is caught up to some of the slower lap traffic, and that allows Todd Bodine to get right on the back bumper, and it looks as though Bodine even thinking about checking to the inside of Kvapil for maybe the pass.
Brett Thompson, they just went by right before that. Buddy Lazier went a lap down here early on in the going. Travis Kvapil right now, and the 30 of Todd Bodine, very, very similar. There's Ron Hornaday. The point battle is right there, Adam.
It is, and I'm sure Mike Skinner very much aware of who's behind him on the racetrack. We reported about 12 laps ago that Skinner came on the radio, said he thought he had a right front tire going down. The crew was on the wall. Mike Swain, the spotter for Skinner, said it looks okay. Jeff Hensley, the crew chief, said ride it out and make sure it is in fact going down. We don't want to come to pit road if we don't have to. Well, he's dropped from the lead back to 9th. Now in the running order as Ron Hornaday has been able to go around.
There's Brendan Gaughan up in that high line in the South Point Chevrolet. You knew he would get up here. He runs the high line at racetracks where there is no high line, and they have a high line here at Las Vegas.
Brendan Gaughan, the 2003 winner of the race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with Ron Hornaday?
Well, Hornaday's a little bit loose going into the corner, but he's really good in the middle and good off. And we see a change for the lead on the racetrack right now as Todd Bodine moves past Travis Kvapil. But I did want to add about Hornaday. They didn't qualify very well. Started 15th tonight, and he started in this number 6 pit stall. But here's a big advantage. Right in front of him was supposed to be Chris Wimmer, and Wimmer crashed in qualifying, so they did not start the race tonight. So now Hornaday has an open stall right in front of him. So even that poor qualifying effort didn't really hurt him tonight. They'll be okay when they try to get in and out of pit road.
And that could be a big benefit if we have green flag pit stops,
yeah,
obviously.
Absolutely. You know, Mike Beam told me, he said, hey, once we get about 25 laps in, we're going to get in our pit window to be able to make this race on one more stop. We've completed 23 laps right now, so we're getting very, very close. If the caution were to come out for these guys, maybe to stop now and then just one more time.
Phil, how about the dominant performance right now that we've seen Todd Bodine put on after he got by Travis Kvapil. We were thinking Travis Kvapil was going to be really the class of the field, and he was holding up Todd Bodine. Todd Bodine probably got almost 12 to 15 truck lengths on Kvapil now.
Yeah, while we were talking about that, the 33 of Ron Hornaday just drove by the 99 of Eric Darnell for the 7th position. You know, when Ron Hornaday said he held this thing wide open and just didn't have the speed, I knew that would be good tonight, though, because these trucks, even with fresh tires, they're able to run wide open. But you know, after you get a few laps on the tires, you get the fuel out of the back, you get air pressure built up, you can't do it anymore. If Ron Hornaday's truck was that good, I knew he would be good in this race.
Todd Bodine is very good. As a matter of fact, over a second lead already over second place Travis Kvapil. Whether going to the race or watching from home, get the most from your NASCAR weekend at SpeedTV.com. Get the inside scoop and the breaking news as soon as it happens. Log on to SpeedTV.com. Keyword My Race Day. Riding along with Jacques Villeneuve, as he currently is running in the 16th position. Started 7th, so dropped back, but looks as though he's running in a little more of a comfortable position for him.
And running very good lap times, too, because right now he's within about a 10th of a second of our leader, Todd Bodine, what kind of lap times he's running. But see him going by Eric Darnell, the 99 car, our winner earlier this year at Kansas.
Darnell is falling fast, too. We've got to find out what's going on with that number 99 Ford, because he was all the way up to 8th and now has dropped back to the
look, Jack Sprague into the wall.
Jack Sprague hard into the wall. Our first caution of the night has come out.
Looked like something either broke or right front tire went down. Jack made hard contact. He was right in front of our leader, Todd Bodine. Jack was not having a good run. He was running in the 25th position. He may have had a slow leak and that tire finally went down. But another tough night for Jack Sprague.
Jack Sprague has had finishes of 24th last week, 32nd at Gateway, and now another disappointing finish here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
A lot of damage to that Conway Toyota.
Brings it on to pit road. Under caution, you see the remnants of a tire still left on the racetrack.
Probably going to have to take that truck straight to the garage area. Brendan Gaughan, the 77 truck, is on pit road. It looks like he's got
a lot of damage to the right front as well, Phil.
Right front tire damage. Maybe that could have been his right front tire.
Gaughan brings his truck onto pit road, and his crew goes to work for him as we see Brendan Gaughan. Looks as though he's casually sitting there, Ray.
He had a right rear tire going down on the South Point Chevrolet, so I think they're going to go all the way around and change tires on all 4 corners for Brendan here, and he will have to restart at the tail end of the longest line for pitting too early.
But he had to come in, Phil. I mean, look at the damage to the right front of that truck.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be very fortunate not to lose a lap here. Fortunately for him, the caution came out, but a tremendous amount of damage to the right front corner of that South Point Chevrolet. Leaders are coming down pit road.
Here comes Todd Bodine leading the field. Again, Todd Bodine was such a dominant truck. John Wood got into second just behind him, and they come on to pit road. They're coming to you, Adam.
And Mike Skinner going to come in running in 9th. Not bad, considering he said on the radio, we do have a flat right front tire. I was just hanging on to it the best I could. It's going to be 4 tires, fuel, and a couple of chassis adjustments. Skinner also said debris from Sprague's truck may have hit his. It looks to be good now. Tires going on the left side as we go to Ray Dunlap.
Everything great for Todd Bodine. No adjustments needed on this Lumber Liquidators Toyota. He said the thing is rolling through the corner just perfect. They'll put 4 tires on this thing and gas, but he will not be the first one off of pit road.
Big race off of pit road now.
Looked like the 09 of Stacy Compton may have won the race off pit road, so probably, yeah, John Wood had a great truck. He came in second off the racetrack. Still on pit road. Just about the entire field has left pit road, and John Wood now will come off pit road next to last.
So a long stop for that number 21 Ford. He'll come back up to speed on the access road as Clay Rogers looks to the outside of him in the number 75 Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet. That 09, as you mentioned, Stacy Compton with an impressive stop. It was off of pit road first. We want to take a look back at why we were under our first caution.
Watch, that's our leader, Todd Bodine, and Jack Sprague right in front of him, getting ready to go a lap down. Something broke, cut down the right front tire. Made some pretty hard contact in that Conway Toyota with the wall. Probably will at least cripple him for the rest of the evening, if not knock him out of the race. But let's take another look at this incident over in turns 1 and 2 for Jack Sprague. Here's real time. You see the sparks before he ever even got halfway up to the wall. The truck just won't turn. You have something like that happen, you can turn the steering wheel all you want and nothing's going to respond.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier too, Phil, because I mean that was a hard hit right there that he hit into that wall. We see our Aaron's Lucky Dog, Chad Chaffin, will get the Aaron's Lucky Dog. He will grab a lap back at number 40, and so he will be back on our lead lap. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the desert here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Smiths Las Vegas 350 underway. We're under our first caution. It was Jack Sprague who had a right front tire going down, got into the turn 3 wall very hard, and so he was on pit road and having work done. And as he was doing that, Brendan Gaughan under caution coming down the backstretch. Take a look at this and listen.
That's what happens when you blow out a tire. Obviously, Brendan ran over some debris, more than likely from the 60 of Jack Sprague, and incredible damage to the bodywork on that South Point Chevrolet truck.
Well, tomorrow grassroots racing will never be the same. 1 hour, 2 new shows. Should Speed pick up these pilots or take them off the air? Tune into Launch Hour tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Ray Dunlap.
Let's update John Wood for you guys real quickly. We saw that he came in running third and had a problem on the pit stop. Well, here's what happened. He pulled in and went a little too far in the box as the tire changer was coming around, and he parked on the air hose, so they were not able to get the lug nuts off. They had to back the truck up. He came in running third, went out 22nd. Double A.
And let's update about the leader. Stacy Compton came down. Everybody wondered how he got all that track position. No tires, fuel only when he pitted at lap 33, guys.
Well, they're talking about these being a hard tire, so that's a gamble that I guess he's willing to take.
Yeah, the trucks were really running just as fast, 20 laps on the tires as they could, with the tires new. So I don't think that's a big gamble. He knows he's going to have to stop again. Again, we're in that window that these guys can make it on one more pit stop.
Obviously, Todd Bodine with a very strong truck. He had put almost 2 seconds between himself and the second place truck of John Wood when that caution came out. And actually, Jack Sprague blew that right front tire just in front of Todd Bodine. Bodine was about to put him a lap down when that right front tire blew. Into the wall he went. Now it is Stacy Compton who leads this field back to the green flag. Todd Bodine will restart second. Travis Kvapil is third. David Green fourth. And Johnny Benson, your top 5 as we come back out of turn number 4 and into the quad oval. Kim Lopez showing them the green flag, and we're back underway at Las Vegas.
Stacy Compton, start in the Craftsman Truck Series. I don't think Todd Bodine's going to waste much time as he goes to the outside of Stacy Compton. Going to bring the 6 of Travis Kvapil with him.
Those 2 trucks strongest early on. Again, it was Bodine who we thought was going to have to work to stay up with Travis Kvapil. Now let's see if Travis Kvapil can stay anywhere near Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd was right down on the bottom of the racetrack, and it looked like Travis lost the front end there a little bit for just a moment. Lost a truck length or 2.
Dennis Setzer in that Fastenal Dodge.
Moves to the inside of Scott Lynch, the 29 Dodge.
Setzer running 11.
There's TJ Bell on the outside. Actually just got by the 18 of Dennis Setzer. TJ had an excellent qualifying run. Qualified up in the 10th position, Adam.
Well, let's start and talk a little bit about Rick Crawford. We talked about pit strategy for Stacy Compton. Crawford started deep in the field tonight in the 25th position. He was working his way toward the top 10, and right side tires only put him into the 5th position on the racetrack. Now we talk about Johnny Benson, the guy that's behind him. There you see Crawford, and just behind him, Johnny Benson. Benson started 22nd tonight. He was great on that first run. Drove his way into the top 10 from 22nd. A solid pit stop. They fixed a loose handling race car. He took 4 tires, and he finds himself in 6th, guys.
And again, Johnny Benson starting in the 22nd position has moved all the way up to 6th. He is our fast start. Johnny Benson in that number 23 Toyota Tundra.
How about that battle right behind them? There's our point leader and second right there. Hornaday on the outside. Ooh, got a spin.
Problems with TJ Bell in number 50. He gets into the wall, backs it up into the wall, and so problems coming out for him. Our second caution of the night.
Yeah, TJ was being shown in the 11th position, having a good run. And a Heathcliff cat litter forward for Jack Roush. Unfortunately, going to be an early exit for TJ.
And so our second caution of the night has come out. We have completed 41 laps, going on 42 under caution from Las Vegas.
No one has more access to the action than a pit crew member, until now.
On today's Tools of the Trade, I want to show you Craftsman's new 19.2 volt variable speed drill and driver set. Now what I really like about this thing is it's loaded with features. You can go from high to low with just the flip of a button. It's got this really nice adjustable handle on it, but check this out. A laser to give you a plumb line for both horizontal and vertical, and when you push the button, a light comes on to illuminate your workspace. Now, a lot of times you're out on the road and you don't have enough power. Well, guess what? They now have a charger that you can take with you to plug into the cigarette lighter on your car or truck. That way, if you ever run out of power, your drill is going to be ready to go when you need it.
Make sure to check out this Craftsman Tools of the Trade and the other great programming on Speed on Demand.
7 of Jason White, the Hooters energy drink. Dodge is our Aaron's lucky dog. So Jason will be back on the lead lap. That will give us 25 trucks right now on the lead lap.
Adam, what's the story from pit road?
Well, an unscheduled stop there for Eric Darnell. They did not want to give up track position and come down, but they felt like they had to because the truck was extremely loose. So they came down, added a spring rubber to the left rear, also made a chassis adjustment, topped it off with fuel. He'd been running in the top 5 early in the race, but had dropped back outside the top 15, and they felt like they had to do something to fix the truck. They came down, made the stop at lap 43, and we'll see if he can rally back into the top 10.
Well, already we've completed 43 laps, and currently there's only 25 trucks that are on the lead lap, meaning we've lost 11 of them from the lead lap at the beginning of this race.
And remember, we talked about this racetrack getting looser as it cools off and we go from daytime till dark. The racetrack gets looser, and that's what Eric Darnell's fighting right now.
Todd Bodine leads the field back to the green flag. Travis Kvapil, his closest competitor, right behind him. Stacy Compton moving back just a bit after we have restarted. That is David Green and Rick Crawford rounding out our top 5.
See Travis Kvapil going around the 13, the lap truck of Willie Allen. David Green's having a good run. I'm sorry, Rick. David Green's having a good run right now, being shown in the 4th spot.
Yeah, Todd Bodine with a good restart, but it doesn't look as though he's going to shake Travis Kvapil as of yet. David Green holding on to that 4th spot. Ray, what are they talking about?
Well, he was real loose early on, Rick, so they decided they were going to try to tighten him up a little bit. Dropped the track bar a round and a half. They came in running 8th on that first round of pit stops and went out 4th. Each and every week, we continue to see this Red Horse Racing team on pit road picking up spots for David Green. They do it week in, week out. Picked him up 4 on the first pit stop of the day.
Right now, it looks as though Rick Crawford is going to try to pick up a spot as he has reeled in David Green, trying to take that position away. Green again running in the 4th spot. Travis Kvapil is holding on to 2nd, but it's Rick Crawford that's 5th, just behind David Green.
Here comes a gaggle of trucks right there. There looks like Johnny Benson there. The 33 of Ron Hornaday.
13 of Willie Allen, I believe, a lap down truck running on the outside of him.
There's David Starr. Moves to the inside of Willie Allen. Here comes Mike Skinner on the inside. Oh, trouble.
Problems with the 16. That's Brian Scott taking over that ride for Dave Fuge, and actually part ownership. So Brian Scott bringing out our third caution of the night.
Brian had some trouble qualifying, spun out coming off turn number 4, had to go to the back of the pack, and now he's made some contact with the outside wall.
We saw this in qualifying earlier. Trucks were having a hard time even on their own out on this racetrack, and now we're seeing it again in the race. 3 cautions early on in this one, just 47 laps complete. Let's take a look at how this took place, and actually we're going to get a view from Jacques Villeneuve's perspective.
Watch that red truck right in front of Jacques. He gets a little bit loose, wiggles, and then Jacques comes along. Yeah, has a little help. And Jacques makes some more contact, so Jacques will be on pit road here shortly for some repairs to the body of that number 27 Toyota.
Again, I think the big story coming in for Jacques and Buddy was braking this heavy vehicle. I'm sure it's got to be so much different than when they're running these open wheel cars.
Yeah, I mean, these open wheel cars are so much lighter than these trucks, and they have way better brakes because they have bigger wheels. These are 15-inch wheels on these trucks. You can only get so much of a caliper in there and rotors. So the open wheel cars with such giant wheels get such big calipers and big rotors, and they're able to stop on a dime.
Another look.
It was right after the initial contact, and then Jacques and Brian made some more contact. Jacques will be coming down pit road here momentarily. Let's take another look at it here. This is slow motion from Jacques on board. Watch the 16 wiggles right there. Then has to chase it, has to get out of the throttle. And Jacques, he's even closer than it looks on TV from that onboard. He's really probably only 2 trunk lengths behind. He's dead in the throttle, full throttle. And when Brian had to back off the throttle to regain control, then that caused Jacques to run into the back of him. And here he is on pit road.
So the 27 is on pit road. The 07, the 77 again of Brendan Gaughan is down there as well. Adam.
And they've walked Jacques onto pit road. Not overly concerned about the damage on the front end. They talk about making a chassis adjustment while they're on the pit lane. You can see the crew focusing their efforts on the left front. That's where the damage came when he got into the tail end of Brian Scott. He comes down pit road. And this is a learning experience for Jacques Villeneuve. And he's in some ways learning the hard way as the crew goes to work on this damaged race truck. But he will, without a doubt, be able to continue here tonight.
A historic number there, the 27. Jacques' father running that number.
Yeah, for Ferrari, Gilles Villeneuve. And then Jacques made a lot of success with that number. That's the number he had when he won the Indy 500 in the kart championship back in 1995.
Continuing on with the legacy. And again, they continue to work on that race truck. Contact was made between Jacques and the 16 of Brian Scott. That's why they're in there working on the front end of that truck. We are under our 3rd caution of the night from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Out in front of the field, it's still Todd Bodine.
Dodge Charger RT and Dodge Avenger RT. They're built for speed. So pace yourself.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Sin City. Out in front, Todd Bodine leading this field around the 1.5-mile reconfigured racetrack. Travis Kvapil, Stacy Compton, David Green, and Rick Crawford are your top 5 under the lights. Exciting city, exciting racing continuing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Willie Allen receives the Aaron's Lucky Dog, so he'll be back on the lead lap. That makes it 26 trucks on the lead lap now.
Just restarted by Jacques Villeneuve right in front of him.
Jacques Villeneuve still on the lead lap. Green flag comes back out. It's Todd Bodine in front of Travis Kvapil. Scott Lynch in that number 29, a lap down truck. So they'll have to maneuver around him as they begin the battle for 1 and 2 up front. Bodine and Kvapil.
Yes, Stacy Compton, the 09, is going to stay right with him, as well as the 1 of David Green. Rick Crawford runs 5th right now on the 14 car truck.
Kvapil running a little higher line around this racetrack than Bodine.
I don't think it's by design. I don't think he can keep his truck down like Todd does. He may have a little bit of an aero loop, aero tight situation.
He talked about how good he thought his truck was after his qualifying effort where he grabbed the pole. We see Hornaday looks as though he's going to lose a spot to David Starr, but not so quick.
He's going to fight back on the bottom. Here's Chad McCumbee, the 8, Mike Skinner, the 5. John Wood has fought his way back up close to the top 10.
And Phil, you know, Ron Hornaday made the comment to Ray earlier as he
gets loose on the inside. Going to chase Chad McCumbee all the way up to the top of the racetrack.
They were 3 and 4 wide right there as Skinner looks to the inside, as does Johnny Benson now. And look, here comes the 18 on the inside of that Dennis Setzer. 3 wide in front of him, Ray.
Hey, Hornaday does not like the way his tires react whenever they go for a restart. He said it takes him at least 4 laps before he's comfortable with that air pressure. So he and Rick Wren have been having major discussions in between each of these cautions about what to do when they change tires the next time down here on pit road.
Yeah, and he had it. He had his hands full right there too, Ray.
Skinner now in front of Hornaday once again. On the outside, Josh Wise. We take another look.
Watch that. You see the 33 of... Ooh, Mike Skinner almost, maybe even made slight contact with the 33 of Hornaday. Hornaday got loose when he got down at turn number 3, chased the 8 of Chad McCumbee all the way up to the top of the racetrack.
How about Dennis Setzer in the 18? You say you run where they're not, and that's exactly what Setzer was doing. He was on the inside of the racetrack, down on the apron about to make the pass.
There's asphalt down there.
If there's ground to run, that's where they're going to run. We're riding along right now with Setzer looking forward up to where Mike Skinner's running. Adam?
And you guys were talking about how tight quarter racing it was a lap ago. Great job for Mike Swain, the spotter for Mike Skinner. He talked him through all the traffic. He told him to keep digging, and then he reminded him, don't let him get you loose, referring to the trucks around him on the racetrack. And Phil, that's something I would guess you really have to be conscious of at a track like Las Vegas.
You really do, Adam. As fast as you run around here, again, speeds upwards of 185 miles an hour down the straightaways, and it's so easy. If you drive up underneath somebody, you can really make them loose. The truck on the inside gets extremely loose in a side-by-side situation, but the truck in front gets very, very loose if somebody pulls right up to his tailgate.
Taking that wind off the spoiler in the back of the truck. That air is so critical. And again, we talked about the wind that is on this racetrack. It is really, it's in their face when they come out of turn number 4. So a lot of downforce on these trucks, but then it's behind them as they go down that backstretch and enter turn number 3.
Yeah, it really zings them down in turn number 3, and that's where we saw Hornaday have his trouble when he got down inside of Chad McCumbee, and the 8 got loose and had to chase it all the way up the hill.
Hey, Adam, is David Starr having some troubles?
Well, the issue could very well be they took right side tires only, and as this run continues, the truck may not be reacting because he was in the top 10, and now we see him dropping back to the 12th position. So Starr, one of those guys that played a little pit strategy on that first stop, perhaps his truck reacting a little bit differently than the other guys, but right now Starr quiet on the radio.
You can see 66 consecutive races David Starr has been running at the finish. That is really impressive. That's over 2.5 years.
Speaking of impressive, let's take another look at what Dennis Setzer had to deal with just moments ago when that quagmire got in front of him.
This is when Ron Hornaday had to chase a truck up the hill. Watch Dennis now. You see him 4 wide in front of him for a moment. That's the 29 of Scott Lynch. They're going to get seized up here. Dennis has to get off the throttle for a minute and just stays down in the apron and drives by him. And they're still 3 wide in front of him.
When you say he had to get out of the throttle for a minute, he burped it. I mean, he literally took his foot off the gas and then right back on it.
Well, that was way out of the throttle.
Mike Skinner just in front of Ron Hornaday. Hornaday looking to the inside once again.
That's a battle for the 10th position right there, and more importantly, a point battle. There's 1 and 2 in points. Skinner second, the 33 of Ron Hornaday our leader.
Johnny Benson making his move. He was able to get by the number 1 of David Green, so takes over the 4th position. So Johnny Benson moving up as Green moves back another spot. And look at Skinner staying right with him. On that high side, Hornaday looked to the inside, and Skinner was able to hold him off. And now Hornaday right on the white line as he tries to take the position away.
And don't think for a second that Mike Skinner doesn't know who that is down there on the inside of him.
He knows exactly who's running with him right now. I'm sure they are talking on the radio, and Skinner doesn't look like he's able to hold it down on the bottom of this racetrack, and Hornaday looks like he is able to hold it down there, but Hornaday can't stay with Skinner on the straightaway.
But that's the nice thing about this racetrack. You don't have to hold it down on the bottom of the racetrack. There are multi-grooves here.
There comes Ron Hornaday once again, looks to the inside of Skinner. Now as Hornaday is able to get right up on the inside and almost side by side with him, Skinner will be able to pull away from him once again on the straightaway.
Hornaday just keeps that nose right up beside him as they get down in turn number 3. Skinner keeps that momentum up on the outside of the racetrack. Hornaday is so good through the center of the corner, but he can't quite close the deal.
This time it's door to door as they cross the start-finish line. Not only a race on the racetrack, but a race for the championship in 2007. 29 points separated the two entering this race, and Hornaday back out in front of Skinner.
Look at Skinner fight back on the outside. He is not letting Hornaday have that position.
No give up in Mike Skinner tonight as Skinner continues to battle with Ron Hornaday. What a great competition they've got going on. And again, this is for 10th right now.
But it may be for a point championship too.
Hornaday and Skinner running very strong. Skinner starting on the outside of row number 1, and Hornaday started in the 15th starting position when this race started. Look at Skinner fall back now as Hornaday has put some distance on Mike Skinner.
Yeah, Hornaday had a real nice arc into that corner. Skinner drove in a little bit straighter, had to wait for his truck to turn a little bit, and Hornaday opened up about 3 or 4 truck lengths.
Johnny Benson, and that 23 has moved up to the 3rd spot, so he was able to get by not only Stacy Compton, but also John Wood and David Green. They have fallen back. John Wood actually moving up again once they restarted, so John Wood's back in the top 5, but it's Benson who's moved up into the top 3.
Got a good battle right behind John. Ooh, look at the heavy traffic right there for Todd Bodine, our leader. It's going to allow Travis Kvapil to gain a little bit on him.
He was a second behind Todd Bodine the last time they went across the start-finish line. This time, he's 1/10 of a second behind. So Todd Bodine has lost all of that lead that he had on Travis Kvapil. Kvapil all over his back bumper.
Good battle between teammates. That's the Zaxby Sport on the outside. John Wood going to split the defense there on the inside. Remember, John Wood had that trouble on pit road just a couple cautions ago. Now he has fought his way back into a top 5 position.
I'm thinking Buddy Lazier right now is going, whoa, what is going on with this? They just passed me on both sides. There's Stacy Compton. Again, just in front of John Wood in that number 21. Right? It seems like he's got a pretty good truck.
Well, and he said whenever they came in and had that problem with pulling over the hose, he said, you know what? It just wouldn't be a truck race for our team if we didn't have a little bit of controversy to try to overcome. Seems like it's been that way since Woody got back here, but he is really wheeling that thing on his way back up there. Good battle between he and Compton. Adam?
And we're going to have a battle for second in the not too distant future. That because Johnny Benson is coming after starting 22nd. He has had no problems driving through the field. In fact, if you look at it on your monitor, he's driven around Travis Kvapil and closing on leader Todd Bodine. He's been dead silent on the radio. This is the same truck that was so dominant at Gateway, and he looks very good here tonight.
I tell you, even making that pass on the 6 as Travis Kvapil, Johnny Benson had the fastest lap time of anybody on the racetrack that time.
Johnny Benson now setting his sights on the 30 of Todd Bodine. So it's 2 Toyotas running 1 and 2. Todd Bodine, Johnny Benson, and then 3 Fords in a row. Travis Kvapil, John Wood, and Stacy Compton rounding out our top 5. Benson looking like the strong truck now, as we have closed in on the halfway point of this race. Todd Bodine, Johnny Benson, 1 and 2.
Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman, by Fastenal, we get it right. And by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life.
Green flag racing continuing from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and out in front of the field now it is Johnny Benson, and that number 23, and we talked about how strong his truck is, Phil.
It sure is. He just drove up on Todd Bodine, moved to the inside, coming off turn number 2, drove right by him.
Half a second lead now Benson has over Todd Bodine. Travis Kvapil has dropped back to 3rd. John Wood in 4th, and Stacy Compton in the top 5. Stacy Compton really impressive after not changing tires on that first stop.
Absolutely, and that's what all the crew chiefs and the drivers in the garage area were saying, that this tire is so hard, but it doesn't give up. It keeps running fast lap times.
Would you see this as being the opportunity for them later on to not do a tire change this next stop?
That may be some of the talk down in the garage area on pit road. This is how the pass for the lead took place. You see Johnny on the inside of the racetrack hugging that white line. Todd a little bit late getting back to the throttle. Johnny on the throttle quick, pulls up right beside him, going down the back straightaway. He's just going to drive into turn number 3 with the lead.
Coming up on the halfway point, we've completed 75 of the expected 146 laps. Johnny Benson out in front. We've had 6 lead changes between 5 different drivers. Only 3 cautions for 11 laps. And 1 truck is officially out of the race. Adam, has he said anything? That's Johnny Benson out in front. Has he said anything on the radio?
He had not said anything on the radio, Rick, till he took the lead. That's when he came on, said to Trip Bruce, his crew chief, make sure and let me know what my lap times are. I'm going to back off a little bit and take care of my tires, perhaps setting up a 2 or no tire stop on that final stop of the evening. It remains to be seen, but Johnny Benson feeling very good about his race truck right now, Ray.
Well, and Adam, here's the thing that everybody's discussing on my end. It's exactly what lap this caution might come at. See, here's the situation. We can go about 65 laps on a set of tires here on a fuel run, and they know that we stopped the first time on lap 32. If we get all the way to 90, you're right, they very well may go no tires or go with 2 tires. But if we were to get a caution right now, it's going to take you that much fuel to put in the truck that you might as well make a change on tires. Now, most of the guys also on my end, everybody are out of stickers down here. So most people have scuffed tires ready to put on if they do decide indeed to change them.
The 21 of John Wood now has taken over the 3rd position from Travis Kvapil. And the reason a lot of the guys down on pit road don't have stickers is they felt like they needed to scuff these tires. A lot of scuffing of tires went on. That way they could pick their sets and know which tires they wanted to put on when.
In practice, a lot of the teams realized that they weren't as quick on sticker tires as they were on the scuff tires. So a lot of the teams went ahead and just scuffed all the sets of tires they had.
And look at Stacy Compton. He never even changed tires. We're 78 laps into this race, and he's still running in the top 5.
Still running competitive lap times, 31:87 the last time he went by, and 3rd place John Wood ran a 31:86. So very competitive lap times for Stacy Compton, and again, he did not change tires on that first stop.
John Wood is right. Look at John Wood right behind that 2nd place truck and going to drive by him on the inside.
Todd Bodine moves up the racetrack. John Wood moves right on by, but Todd Bodine says, whoa, wait a second. This is a race for position here. I don't want to give up so quick.
I'm going to tell you, that 21 truck is really, really good right now. He may have something for the 23 of Johnny Benson, our leader.
John Wood, the last time he was in victory lane was back in 2003 when he won at Martinsville. That was his 2nd career win for John Wood, and so looking to make it 3 if he can catch up to Johnny Benson.
You sure would be a nice way to celebrate that 60th anniversary of the U.S. Air Force.
See Jacques Villeneuve, he has dropped the lap now. He is actually 2 laps down to the field, running in the 25th position. 1 lap down on the field, excuse me.
Remember, Jacques has that damage from that earlier incident when the 16 of Brian Scott got sideways right in front of him.
See a little bit of the tape on the front end of that truck. And again, he and Buddy Lazier looking to just really log some lap times here, log the seat time, so they can get a better feel for what's going on. Jacques will be running 7 races in the remaining 2007 season, and a big race coming up at Talladega. That will be quite an experience, I would guess, for even a world racer like Jacques Villeneuve.
There's Johnny Benson, our leader, right there. And Johnny, I tell you, has really brought that truck to the front. He's made some nice passes on some good trucks. Just take a look back right now. This is a battle for actually a pass for the 4th position on the number 1 of David Green. That's 4th. Johnny takes over that 4th spot with his Toyota. Now we're going to watch him take over the 3rd position from the 09 of Stacy Compton. And as we saw a few moments ago, that was the lead, the pass for the lead over the 30 of Todd Bodine. Johnny Benson up front.
That progression also included going by Travis Kvapil. And we thought Travis Kvapil was the strongest truck on the...
That's a battle for the lead right there. Look at John Wood on the outside.
John Wood's going to go to the outside, try to take the position away from Johnny Benson. He does. John Wood now leads in Vegas.
Okay, I thought he might have something for Johnny Benson. He has overcome the trouble on pit road. He restarted this race back in about the 22nd or 3rd position 2 cautions ago, and here he is in the lead.
How about John Wood? What a story this would be after his troubles that he's already experienced in the 2007 season. Getting back into a truck, was going to run the remainder of the 2007 season, and what a way to really jumpstart the rest of this season with a victory potentially at Vegas.
Yeah, John Monson, his crew chief for John there. A lot of success in the Craftsman Truck Series. They won races together back at Roush a few years ago. So there's a battle right there. There's Johnny Benson, the 23. That we have the lap truck of Tim Sauter, the 07, right between he and Todd Bodine. The caution flag is out. There's Chad McCumbee right there. I wonder if he was involved. Brendan Gaughan going
very
just past
hard
the start-finish line.
into the wall, folks. You see the damage on the right side of that. That had to have happened when he came out of turn number 4.
Life is going to go straight to the garage area. Brendan knows how hard that truck hit. Yeah, what a tough break for Brendan Gaughan, the South Point team, right here at home.
Disappointment, I'm sure, for everyone involved. We see the sticker on the bar here. Michael's. It's a restaurant there at South Point Casino and Hotel. A phenomenal restaurant, by the way.
Absolutely.
But a disappointing night for Brendan Gaughan, looking to really have a big day. See Buzzy making his way over there to make sure that Brendan's okay.
He's just going to try to catch his breath here.
Let's take another look at what took place.
There's Brendan going in turn number 3. See him running the high line. Back in the throttle.
Again, that right front tire blowing on the South Point Chevrolet and hard into the wall in turn 4.
And there's another view of it. You know, so much damage from that earlier blown right front tire that, you know, there could have been something rubbing it. You know, did so much damage to the bodywork and the fender braces and things like that. But what a horrible break here. Guys getting ready on pit road here. There's John Wood's pit crew right there. The Air Force guys, and there's JB's certified used vehicles by Toyota pit crew.
Phil, we thought about 60 to 65 laps was going to be the window. Again, this is a 146 lap race, and that means we are 60 laps from the end.
This will do it. This will do it.
Could be the final stop here for all of our trucks coming onto pit road, and it's going to be led by John Wood in that number 21. They do not want to have any mistakes this time as they come on to pit road. John Wood leads Johnny Benson, Todd Bodine, Travis Kvapil, and Stacy Compton. They are our top 5 that will make their way onto pit road.
This is the money stop right here. This is when the guys want to get it done and get their driver out first.
Adam.
And guys, pit road is where the drivers are coming now, but they will not get service. The pit lane is actually closed. They're coming down pit road to avoid the cleanup in turn 4. So these guys driving down the pit lane, they will not get service until the pit lane is actually open, perhaps the next time around.
Seeing it closed, but the trucks will always follow the pace vehicle. Wherever the pace vehicle goes, the trucks will always go behind it. And so the pace vehicle, driven by Randy Kaiser, made his way onto pit road so that they would avoid any of the safety crews that are working in turn number 4. Fastenal Dodge by Dennis Setzer. Moved up into the 11th spot. He started this race in 17th. He's been competitive all night.
Giving that Bobby Hamilton truck a good ride. Fastenal Dodge.
Again, the strong truck now looks to be John Wood. We've really, I guess, we've waffled a little bit, and it's amazing that Michael Waltrip's not up here because you two always will go back and forth one way or the other. But for some reason tonight, it was Travis Kvapil that looked so strong. And then all of a sudden, Todd Bodine was very strong. And then Johnny Benson, again, extremely strong. And then it's John Wood who went by Johnny Benson like Johnny Benson was one of the back markers in this field.
Pit road is still closed, but they will bring the trucks down pit road so they don't have to ride through the debris caused by the blown tire from Brendan Gaughan's South Point Chevrolet. Little shortcut here.
Well, if anyone was in any type of I guess a worry about not having enough fuel, this is shortening the racetrack up a bit for him. Well, no one covers NASCAR like NASCAR on Speed Friday. Tune in all weekend long as we deliver live coverage from Kansas Speedway. Get all the on and off track action with NASCAR on Speed beginning Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, live and only on Speed. It's huge. Speaking of huge, our next race will be in Talladega, and that coverage is going to be huge. From 12 to 12, noon to midnight, wall-to-wall coverage, everything going on at the racetrack at Talladega. And again, that's always an exciting race, measuring up, obviously, to the races that we've seen here at Las Vegas. So the next lucky dog going to the 07.
The Lester Building Chevrolet of Tim Sauter.
Tim Sauter will be back on the lead lap. Now, on the lead lap, we only have 19 trucks.
That will include our lucky dog, Tim Sauter. Looks like NASCAR's going to bring the trucks down on the apron again. More than likely bring them down pit road.
It looks as though the officials are focusing a lot of their attention on the safer barrier right now. We're seeing a few of the officials up there checking it out. So as they continue to check out the safer barrier and clean up this racetrack from our most recent caution involving the 77 South Point Chevrolet, we will head to commercial break and be right back. FoxSports.com and SpeedTV.com for the most powerful online team in NASCAR. Breaking news, in-depth analysis, detailed driver stats, and more. Log on to SpeedTV.com now. Look at this great crowd here, Phil. Once again at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Absolutely had a terrific crowd. Let's see if we can talk to our leader right now, John Wood. Hey, John Wood, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You are sure giving that Air Force Ford a good ride here tonight. You guys have overcome that trouble you had on pit road and drove by all those cats.
Yeah, it's you know, it's one thing when you can you know, have a good night based on pit strategy or something like that, but we've without question been the dominant truck, and you know, it's awesome to have Air Force on the truck and be here right by Nellis Air Force Base. That's truly special, and you know, my guys have done an awesome job. We've got a good truck, and we've known it since we unloaded.
Well, we've seen you win in this truck series before, John. You've got a couple wins here. It'd be nice to make it number 3 tonight.
Yeah, it would. You're exactly right. I think I got the truck to do it.
All right, buddy. It looks like they may be opening pit road. Concentrate on this pit stop.
Gotcha.
All right.
We don't want to distract him. Actually, they had a little issue on the first stop. We would hate for him to say, what was that guy on Speed that came in and talked to me? Adam Alexander, here comes the field. Coming your way, buddy.
Last time they pitted Mike Skinner in the top 5. He rides 10th. A tight handling race car for Skinner. They are going to make a significant chassis adjustment. They're going to elect to go 4 tires and top off the fuel tank. He will be good to go the distance from here. His teammate Johnny Benson rides 2nd on the racetrack. They went back and forth. 4 tires, 2 tires, no tires. Ultimately, it's going to be 4 tires, fuel, and a chassis adjustment for Johnny Benson. Ray Dunlap.
Up 1 round on the track bar for Todd Bodine. He was a little bit tied off. For John Wood, it's absolutely no chassis changes for the Smith Truck Store Ford. These guys get their 4 tires put on here. They said, make sure you pack it full of fuel. The 21 will be the very first guy off pit road. Travis Kvapil with a good stop. He'll roll out 2nd.
Tight race between Kvapil and the 23 of Johnny Benson when they left pit road. So we'll shake out how they came off of pit road when we get back to Vegas. Thursday, tune in for the gutsiest show on TV. Pink's All Out. It's not for the pink slip. They're chasing the green. $10,000 in cold, hard cash. Run fast, run hard. Pink's All Out. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Some close calls on the racetrack, but also a close call right here on pit road. Take a look at this with Josh Wise.
You see him as he leaves pit road here. He's in a bad angle. He had to drive around another truck, but as he gets in the throttle, he gets that back of that truck spinning and bounces off a couple of his own guys, but it looks like they stayed on their feet and stayed in this thing.
Josh Wise back in the seat, 00. Last time he was in it, it was Gateway. Adam Alexander.
Well, guys, you talk about close calls on the racetrack. Sometimes you don't know they're coming. Look at this tire. It's the right front, the inside of the right front for Regan Smith. He had no idea there was an issue. The crew pulls it off, and this is what they find. Perhaps the caution, a blessing in disguise for Regan Smith. He was 8th prior to the caution, now in 13th, and tonight looking for his 3rd top 10 and only 4 starts in this 47 truck.
Riding along with 27 of Jacques Villeneuve. Currently in the 26th spot and actually scored 1 lap down.
Going to restart behind Jason White, getting a lot of experience, and that's what this is all about, getting laps with other vehicles on the racetrack.
It's about to heat up. Kim Lopez is going to show him the green flag once again. We're back underway at Las Vegas.
Great restart by John Wood, opens up 2-3 truck lengths on the 23 of Johnny Benson.
Again, we would think that that most recent caution that came out and the ensuing pit stop could be the final pit stops of the night for everyone on the racetrack. They can make it on fuel. The only reason it would bring them back onto pit road would be an ill-handling truck.
Yeah, I don't think so. All these trucks we see running up front right now know that they have good handling trucks. They try to tweak on them, make them a little bit better, but they know they're all pretty good up front.
Moving in on the final 50 laps of this race. On lap number 96 of the 146 scheduled. Again, I say scheduled. We have had green, white, checkered finishes in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at this racing facility.
See the 59 right there, Terry Cook. He's having a good run. He's 4th, a little pit strategy that time for Terry Cook. Got him a little track position. We saw it work for Stacy Compton. He didn't even change tires on the first round of pit stops, and he was able to stay up in the top 5.
He was right behind that 6 of Travis Kvapil. We've talked about how strong he was. The 33 of Ron Hornaday. And now we've got problems. 09 of Stacy Compton, who you just were talking about with the new tires. Having problems coming out of 4. He spins, gets up in the air, but stays on all 4 tires.
Yeah, I got a feeling he probably had a little help there. We'll see if we can get a look at what may have caused this incident for Stacy Compton with Zaxby's Ford. See a little damage to the right rear quarter panel. More than likely that's where this incident started.
Got him turned around potentially. We take one more look. Look back at this.
This is going to be coming off turn number 4. You see, ooh, they're together at the 30 of Todd Bodine and the 09 of Stacy Compton. Close call for Todd Bodine.
That was pretty heavy contact on the inside of that 30. They may want to bring him down pit road to make sure there isn't a problem with the inside of that truck.
Yeah, Todd will have to give up his track position. He went by the start-finish line that last time. And here's another view right there from Dennis Setzer's on board. See him get together. Todd does a great job maintaining control. Pit road is still closed. Todd stayed on the racetrack probably because of pit road being closed.
We see the right side damage of that 09 of Stacy Compton. Adam.
And you guys are talking about Stacy Compton and that right side damage, and that's exactly what Compton said on the radio. He said, Bodine got into my right front. That's what you need to check out when I come down pit road. Now, spotters are checking to try and see if they can tell what extent the damage is, because the crew can't see it being on this side of the race truck as he goes down the front straightaway. But Compton will pit once the pit lane is open.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the number 4 Dodge of Kevin Hamlin. He'll be back on the lead lap. That makes 20 on the lead lap when we return. The last caution that came out, we thought Stacy Compton was probably the worst for wear, but look at the damage on the inside of the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Let's take another look at what caused this incident right here coming off turn number 4. You see the 09 of Stacy and the 30 of Todd Bodine get together. Stacy loses control. Todd all but loses control. Quite a bit of damage to the left side of that 30 Toyota. Stacy Compton's back wheels came completely off the ground.
He looked like that whole truck was in the air for a while. Then he gets it straight back out, headed the right direction.
The 09 came down pit road. We saw a lot of damage to the left side of that Lumber Liquidators Toyota, but we know that the guys in the pits got a good view of it. From their pit box, they can take a look at it with binoculars, and they may have determined that they didn't think that tire was going to rub. And that's all that really matters.
Todd Bodine doesn't want to give up track position. Adam, what's going on with Stacy Compton, though?
Well, you guys mentioned the fact that he came down pit road. He got those 4 fresh tires. They reminded him their stickers to make sure and work them in good before we go back to the green flag. And they said it's a good thing we came down pit road because you didn't have a flat spot on one of those tires. And Stacy came back and said that's what'll happen when you go spinning sideways like I did. So he had a good attitude about it, but unfortunate for Stacy Compton, he lost a lot of track position right there, Ray.
And Adam, Bodine said he doesn't feel any problems with the handling of the truck as far as steering or anything like that. And as Phil said, what they did, they got the binoculars out from high atop at the spotter stand and from down inside on top of the pit box. Everybody looked at it. They've seen what we've shown you on television. They said they don't believe it's going to be any kind of an issue that would be reason to give up a 6th place running position on the racetrack.
And so they stay out. Caution lights are out on the pace truck, meaning he will make a hard left turn when he gets to pit road and put the field back in the hands of John Wood. John Wood has been very strong. We talked to him just before that last caution.
Yeah, no matter what happens, what a great run by John Wood and this Air Force team right here. What a terrific truck they have, and overcame that trouble on pit road to take the lead. He restarted 22nd after his pit stop and drove up to the lead with 1 caution flag in between.
John Wood going across the start-finish line as we restart from Las Vegas. Now he has the 2nd most laps led in this race at 17.
Johnny able to stay right with him this time. John didn't get quite as good a restart as he did that first time. Look at Terry Cook looking really racy in that Toyota.
Down the back stretch, Johnny Benson just behind the 21 of John Wood. Travis Kvapil still in the hunt here. Terry Cook running 4th. Ron Hornaday 5th.
Terry Cook looks to the inside of Travis Kvapil and a battle for 3rd.
Here they go side by side. It's not only Travis Kvapil, Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday also side by side. Cook not able to keep the momentum up on the inside of the racetrack, and it doesn't look as though Todd Bodine has slowed down at all from that damage.
Sure doesn't. As long as the tire's not rubbing, I don't think there was going to be any kind of a competitive disadvantage with that damage to the left side where it was.
John Wood has put about 4/10 of a second between he and Johnny Benson as they go by the start-finish line. Travis Kvapil, Todd Bodine, and Hornaday battling for 4th and 5th.
Terry Cook was side by side for the 3rd position just a lap ago, and he lost so much momentum being on the inside that he's all the way back now, in about the 6th position. They've got these trucks right behind him. Look at Chad McCumbee. Another good run for Chad McCumbee. But Chad is being shown a lap down. Remember, he had an issue when Brendan Gaughan hit the wall coming off turn number 4.
David Green just on the outside of McCumbee. Green on the lead lap. He's currently scored 7th. Rick Crawford is 8th. Dennis Setzer 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Mike Skinner. But out in front of the field is John Wood, right?
Hey, let's talk about crew chief John Monson just a little bit on this team. You know, Monson has won with 5 different drivers in his career, and one of those already being John Wood. They won at Martinsville. It's been 35 races since John Wood last won in the Craftsman Truck Series. But John Monson felt like his very next best chance to win this season would have been with Mark Martin. And this truck that John Wood is driving tonight is chassis number 1, and it has only been driven by Mark Martin this year. This is the first time they brought it out for a race other than with Mark, and John Wood said he absolutely loved it from the very first time he sat in it. John Monson thought for sure they'd win a race earlier this year with Mark Martin. Looks like right now they got a pretty good shot at it tonight at Vegas.
And a door-to-door battle going on for 7th. David Green on the outside, Crawford on the inside. Across the start-finish line, and those two separated by less than 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, that was door-to-door, fender-to-fender, and tires-to-tires, Adam.
And how many times do you see it? Rick Crawford, maybe not a great qualifying run, struggles in the early going and rallies late. Well, they used a no-tire stop at lap 33 to get track position. They've been in the top 10 ever since. 4 tires at lap 91. No adjustments to this race truck, which has apparently once again saved its best for last.
I'll tell you, Johnny Benson has run down this 21 of John Wood.
And remember, Johnny Benson, we heard, came on the radio to Trip Bruce and said, okay, give me my lap times because I'm going to take it easy on these tires. So we know Johnny Benson may have a little bit in reserve for this race.
Yeah, we got about 40 laps to go right now. No reason to get anxious right now. Johnny Benson is a veteran here. He's won But seven or eight of these Craftsman Truck Series races, 3 this year. So he knows how to save his equipment.
Yeah, the points battle continuing. Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner battling for that coming into this race. It was 29 points that separated them. Hornaday runs 4th, Skinner running in the 10th spot.
Look at this battle we have up front here. John Wood right behind him, the 23 of Johnny Benson. Travis Kvapil, remember, he was strong early on, then faded a little bit. Mike Beam and his guys have made some adjustments, and he's right there with these guys for the lead.
Coming back into the front of this picture. It's Travis.
Bodine with trouble.
The problems for the 30 now starting as he is slow on the racetrack. The caution has come out, and it's going to come out because of Todd Bodine.
It looks like the left rear tire is up, and that's the tire that was in question, Ray.
Yeah, and absolutely. Todd Bodine had just come on the radio, too, and saying that his truck had gotten very, very loose. The first 2 times we had pit stops here, he said, I was tied off. Now, Phil, realize they only raised the track bar 1 round there, so I'm wondering if it was a problem with that fender back there. But Todd's saying his truck was terrible loose on that run.
Yeah, I don't think there was a problem with the fender, Ray. You can see the right side. He's got right side damage. He made some contact with the outside wall. There you see the damage right there on that Toyota. And he is coming to pit road.
Here comes Todd Bodine, our 2006 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion to start the 2007 season. And now struggling once again here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
So optimistic coming into this race. They felt like they had such a good truck, and they did, Ray.
Want to put right side tires on this thing, Phil. They're not sure they'll be able to do all 4 here because they got to pull the fender damage out there, especially on the right front. So they said hold off on doing left sides. Turbo Kincaid, the spotter up top, will let them know where the pace car is, but their big attention was trying to get that right side fender pulled out enough and look in there and make sure there's no damage to the steering components on this Lumber Liquidators Toyota.
Aaron's lucky dog going to the 8 of Chad McCumbee. And so Chad McCumbee will put that truck back on the lead lap. We now have 21 trucks on the lead lap, and the 21 is out in front. Next time the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series hits the high banks, it will be Talladega live, and that takes place October 6th. The race coverage beginning at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, but speeds coverage wall to wall at Talladega, noon to midnight.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll tell you what a great show those trucks put on at Talladega. The race will be Saturday, but wall to wall on Friday on speed.
Take a look at the strip. Again, about 10 miles from the racetrack. Adam, you're right here up front. What's going on with the 14?
Well, they had some concerns about possible damage on the right rear. He was running right around Todd Bodine when Todd had his issues. So they were curious about the situation and trying to check the right rear to see if, in fact, they had damage when they got involved, possibly with contact there when Bodine had his issues on the front straightaway here just a moment ago.
Here they come to the green flag. We are back underway at Las Vegas. As the race continues on the left screen, you see on the right screen Todd Bodine back into the garage.
Kvapil looks to the outside of Johnny Benson. That's a battle for the second position. Not quite able to pull it off. Ooh, trouble.
Smoke coming out of the number 7. And there has been some heavy contact also.
Yeah, Jason White. Tough break for him. He was racing to try to get the Aaron's lucky dog. A lot of damage to that Hooters energy drink Dodge.
I had shined the spotlight on him to start off this race. Not the way he wanted to end. He had 2 races this year already where he had a 22nd place finish, and now this will relegate him back to potentially 28th as far as the best he'll be able to finish.
He's in the middle of a 3-wide situation. Looks like he may have moved up the racetrack and made a little contact with the 29 of Scott Lynch. Got into the outside wall. As the brakes locked up, the front brakes locked up. Makes a little bit of contact with the wall over and turning it down.
Seventh caution of the night, Phil.
Yeah. A lot of attrition here.
Take another look, riding along with Josh Wise.
It happened right in front of Josh.
Ooh, very close.
I'm not even sure Josh knew where that truck was.
He saw the smoke. He saw the truck in front of him. He stayed right on his tailgate and was able to get by that 7. And Ray, I believe you caught up with our most recent driver that we talk about attrition.
Yeah, and it's a little weird. Tied off most of the night, Todd, and then all of a sudden I heard you say loose. What happened?
Made some adjustments that didn't work. Just got really loose, and I buzzed it loose one time catching those guys, and it never came back, and I was just hanging on. And evidently Rick Spotter didn't tell him I was out there or something. I don't know. He just run me up in the wall. You know, I should have got out of there. Should have known better. But first DNF in a long time for this team, and we had a great truck. The Lumber Liquidators Thunder was really fast. Got behind those guys in the pit stop, but I think we had something for them.
Well, they've assessed the damage down here. Looks like a steering box problem, and some of that damage on the right front is a little bit more severe than they had thought at the beginning. They've got the crash card out. They're going to begin working on this thing, but with this few number of laps left, I'm not sure that the 30 will be back on the racetrack.
Just 32 laps remain in this race. Aaron's lucky dog going to the 40 of Chad Chaffin. So Chad Chaffin will be back on the lead lap. That will put 21 trucks back on the lead lap racing for the win tonight. .30 laps remain at the Smith's Las Vegas 350. Las Vegas Motor Speedway outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. Under the lights once again here at Las Vegas. Mike Skinner running in the 9th position. In front of him in the 4th spot, points leader Ron Hornaday. So this is not helping Mike Skinner's run to the 2007 championship.
That's the problem. The 33 of Ron Hornaday, our point leader, is in front of him. As you mentioned, Ron's in the 4th position. Mike Skinner back in 9th. If the race were to end right now, this is how the points would shape up, with Hornaday with a 46-point edge right now on Mike Skinner. And I'm telling you, this thing is going to go right down to the wire.
And this race is far from over as well. Randy Kaiser's going to bring the pace truck back onto pit road. And again, does anyone have anything for John Wood? John Wood has been out in front of the field now 33 laps. He's in front of Johnny Benson. Benson was holding back earlier. The green flag back out, and we're back underway.
I'm telling you, it really looked like John was a little more vulnerable that last run after that previous caution flag. Johnny was able to stay right with him, as well as the 6 of Travis Kvapil.
This time, Travis Kvapil and Ron Hornaday nose to tail. That's for 3rd. All 4 trucks in the top 5 running nose to tail.
Jerry Cook right behind Ron Hornaday in the 5th position. Ooh, Travis is going to drift up the hill a little bit. It's going to let Hornaday get down on the inside.
Hornaday trying to take away 3rd from Travis Kvapil. Little loose there for Josh Wise. He grabs it back.
There's Mike Skinner. 2nd points.
28 laps of racing to go. Hornaday trying to take the position away from Travis Kvapil.
Travis Kvapil does not want to give up this position because he was able to run with our 2 lead trucks right before that caution flag come out. It may take him a couple laps, so he does not want to get behind that 33 of Hornaday.
7 different lead changes today. 6 different leaders. 3 wide around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right across the start-finish line. 3 wide.
Mike Skinner, there's Josh Wise in the middle. Jacques Villeneuve was on the inside of that 3 wide battle.
Throw a blanket over those 3 trucks as they cross the start-finish line, and now they've spread out a bit on the backstretch.
Yeah, there's the 88 of Matt Craftsman. We haven't talked a whole lot about Matt, but he's in a battle for a top 10 spot right there.
But across the start-finish line, involved with that 3 wide, and there was only a 1/10 of a second that separated 3 trucks. Now Johnny Benson right on the back bumper again of John Wood.
Johnny was able to hold his truck a little bit lower, but didn't look like he gained any momentum on that 21 of John Wood.
Wood still holding off the 23 of Johnny Benson. Adam, is Johnny Benson talking like he might be able to get by John Wood?
Now, he's been very quiet on the radio, but we speculated earlier based on a conversation he had with Trip Bruce that perhaps he was saving something in the truck. And under that last caution, he said, let me know when there's 30 to go, 20 to go, 15 to go, 10 to go, and 5 to go. Perhaps setting up a plan to reel in the 21. If that's the case, he may not wait that long, because with 25 to go, he's closing on his bumper right now.
Johnny Benson was out in front of the field for 13 laps earlier in this race. He's led laps. Todd Bodine's led laps. Obviously, John Wood out in front. Travis Kvapil's been in front. Mike Skinner was in front for 5 laps, as well as Stacy Compton.
Yeah, Mike Skinner is backing up a little bit. That's a battle for the 11th position right here. Watch this now. This is just a few moments after the restart. Watch that 5 up top of your screen. Mike Skinner, he bounces off the fence. That's what caused that battle with Josh Wise. Made some pretty decent contact.
Right
with the outside wall.
Josh Wise here. He gets a front hand look at what's going on. You see Skinner in the upper right hand corner.
Just ran out of room out there. There's the 10 of David Starr goes by on the inside.
Adam Alexander.
Well, and Mike Skinner has not been happy with the handling of this race truck in the last number of laps. And he came on the radio and said, I wish we could do something about it, realizing they could not come to pit road. It's been a tough evening for him. And at this stage, unless something goes drastically wrong, Phil, he's just got to stay in line, do the best he can, and take your medicine, if you will, because really there's no way they can come down pit road at this stage.
No, not at all. But he did bounce off the wall, so I'm sure that has affected the handling. But what a great run by Dennis Setzer in this Fastenal Dodge. What a sight for sore eyes to see Dennis running up front like this again.
Yep, Dennis Setzer taking over for Ken Schrader, as Schrader is running the Cup race in Dover. And so Dennis Setzer having the opportunity. He's not tied up with any team right now. Had an opportunity to step into this Fastenal Dodge and really has given it a great run.
You know, Dennis Setzer has won so many of these races. He's finished second at points 3 years, and he's basically auditioning because he does not have a regular ride, Rick, as you were talking about. And what a great job that Dennis is doing right here. And I'm telling you, he's not dumb, because he's been running some incredible lap times. He's one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack right now.
Amazingly enough, Dennis Setzer let go from his previous ride after 17 victories, one of those coming this year. So an amazing story for Dennis Setzer is, like you mentioned, he is auditioning tonight here at Las Vegas.
That's one thing I like about this series too. You know, there's such a big push for younger drivers in the Nextel Cup series and in the Busch series, but this is a series that if somebody has talent like a Johnny Benson, a Todd Bodine, they're going to get an opportunity. Travis Kvapil is going to resurrect his career here. He had very limited success in the Nextel Cup series. Jack Roush says, please come and drive my truck and try to win me a championship. And it's led him to another opportunity in the Nextel Cup series with Yates Racing.
Travis Kvapil holding on to the 3rd spot today. Johnny Benson's in front of him. Out in front of the field, there's the team cheering him on. It's John Wood leading the field at Vegas. Under the lights here at Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Out in front, John Wood. Right behind him, Travis Kvapil has begun to reel in our race leader. He was able to get by Johnny Benson. Now he's put some distance between himself and Benson, and now he tries to reel in that Ford that's just in front of him.
And the 33 of Ron Hornaday has lost touch with these top 3. He's about 3.5 seconds behind right now. He has Terry Cook right behind him, but right now it's a battle for 3 trucks.
Josh Wise looking back at Eric Darnell. Wise running 8th, Darnell trying to take that position away.
Okay, both of these trucks just got by the one of David Green to take over the 8th and 9th position. What a good run for Josh Wise. You mentioned earlier, last time he was in this truck, he finished 8th at Gateway, and right now, that's where he's running.
8th once again. And here comes Kvapil. Kvapil is able to take away the position. John Wood falls to 2nd. Travis Kvapil out front once again. How strong a truck we talked about Travis Kvapil had early on. Well, he's going to flex his muscles now with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, that means that Mike Bean made the right adjustments. Travis Kvapil gave him the right feedback. He told him what this truck was doing. They made it better, and now it appears that he's got the best truck on the racetrack again.
Take a look at this pass. On the outside again, he did this to Johnny Benson coming out of turn number 4.
Oh, no, look at Ron Hornaday with trouble.
Problems. This is our points leader. He is on pit road. He's got a right front tire that blew, and the caution flag comes out.
Talk about an amazing turn of events, Ray.
I know, man. It's just crazy. Hornaday came on. He said, I feel a vibration. I feel a vibration. And boom, that right front let off. It has ripped that entire front fender off here. They're going to have to make sure they can lift up the right side of this thing to get that change. But there may be more damage than just one wheel.
Yeah, he's going to definitely be out of contention. I would be shocked if he was able to make repairs and keep this truck on the lead lap.
He only has to keep it on the lead lap for, well, he doesn't even have to keep it on the lead lap, really. He's got to just stay in contention with two drivers that are a lap down to stay in the 22nd position in this racetrack. Now, Skinner is running 11, but because Hornaday has fallen back, Hornaday now being scored 20th in the last truck on the lead lap. If he can hang on to a lead lap, Phil, though, he'd be able to finish 20th in this race.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what they're hoping to be able to do. He has finished on the lead lap in 26 consecutive races. What an incredible streak for Ron Hornaday. And what an incredible season he's had. 11th is his worst finish this year.
Well, it's going to change tonight. What could happen to our points battle if something like this happens? Well, Mike Skinner has got to be smiling. Mike Skinner now back in front in the points battle. 3 points back, Ron Hornaday.
Good Travis Kvapil. I remember I gave him up for dead. Said he was really out of this points battle. He was going to have to make something happen, and making something happen he is. He's leading this race with both Skinner and Hornaday having trouble.
A lot of tape on the front of the number 33. Let's take one more look at what's taking place. This just took place. You see the tire just doing so much damage to the right front of this truck.
Yeah, we have seen that just 2 or 3 times. We're going to ride along with Dennis Setzer in the Fastenal Dodge. Just take a look up in front of us, in front of him right there. Look like Ron Hornaday blew the tire. He never even made contact with the outside wall. That tire did all that damage to that truck.
The vibration turned bad. Adam Alexander.
Mike Skinner knew the caution had come out, but he didn't know why, and they came on the radio and said, you just need to keep it between the lines the rest of the night, old buddy. And he said, why? Did something happen to Ron? They relayed the message that Hornaday had the issue with the right front tire. He talked about how bad the truck was, and he said, guys, you know what? I'm not used to running bad at this place, but we're going to get better. His optimistic attitude coming through as he realized he may be the benefactor of some misfortune of Ron Hornaday here tonight.
So Mike Skinner had problems at Gateway. He lost his points lead. Now the problems are for Hornaday. Hornaday struggles. Skinner will get back up front in the points.
The dream is still alive. Someday it will come true. And this country, it belongs to folks like me and you. So let the voice of freedom sing out through this land. This is our country.
Chevy Silverado. This is our truck.
Welcome back. Smith's Las Vegas 350 about to be completed. Under the lights here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, out in front of the field, Travis Kvapil, John Wood, Johnny Benson, Terry Cook with a top 5 performance. Rick Crawford rounds out the top 5. Green flag back out.
Inside of 10 laps to go. Single file restart.
Lap down trucks restart at the back of the field.
Look at John Wood on the inside.
John Wood moves to the inside. He tries to take away the top spot. Down the backstretch they go side by side.
Look at Johnny Benson going to make it 3 wide for the lead.
Benson tries to go to the inside. John Wood blocks him, and they're still side by side. Who will come out in front?
Johnny Wood had to chase that truck all the way up the hill. He pulls in behind the 6 of Travis Kvapil. Meanwhile, Johnny Benson takes over second.
Johnny Benson moves to second. Now moving up is Terry Cook. He looks to the inside. He wants to take a position away. Rick Crawford right on his back bumper.
Look at all these trucks battling for the front.
Inside of 7 laps remaining in this one. We've got 139 in the books. Johnny Benson looking to the inside of Travis Kvapil. Kvapil still strong on the high side.
Travis has been so strong on the outside. He took the lead on the outside, and he kept the lead on the outside.
Johnny Benson looking as though he's setting back to make another run, and as he does it, John Wood is all over his back bumper. That is a battle for second.
JB back on the bottom of the racetrack. Travis Kvapil again still on the outside.
Three extremely strong trucks here running nose to tail, but we can't count out the fourth truck, and that's Terry Cook back there.
You're looking to have his best finish of the season, running up in the top 5.
Travis Kvapil now with a truck link between he and Johnny Benson. They go across the start-finish line. That completes lap 141. 5 laps of racing to go.
Look at Josh Wise looking for a top 5 run here, going to the outside of the 14 and Rick Crawford. That is a battle for 5th.
Josh Wise, Rick Crawford, side by side. Here comes Eric Darnell. Here comes Johnny Benson once again.
See if Travis can drive in hard on the outside like he has been.
Kvapil able to keep the momentum up. He stays on the high side, stays in front of Johnny Benson, but not with the truck length he had before. Benson across the start-finish line, that time our new leader.
Johnny Benson has been better down here on the bottom in 1 and 2. Travis is really strong on the outside, especially in 3 and 4, but he gets it done in 1 and 2 this time.
9 1/1000ths of a second separated the 2 trucks when they went across the start-finish line. Kvapil back out in front of Johnny Benson.
Here goes Dennis Setzer. He gets by the 14 of Rick Crawford.
Dennis Setzer moving up. He tries to get up into the top 6. Here comes Rick Crawford one more time. Crawford with another strong run.
Stacy Compton's right behind that group, as well as Chad McCumbee in the 8th.
3 laps of racing to go from Vegas.
Tremendous battles all through the top 10.
Chad McCumbee looking to the inside now of Crawford.
3 wide.
3 wide again on this racetrack. This is exactly why they did the reconfiguration of the racetrack, so they would have 2 and 3 wide, and it is coming to fruition.
Chad McCumbee on the inside of Rick Crawford. A good battle right there.
2 laps of racing to go. Travis Kvapil in front of Johnny Benson. Now 4/10 of a second separate 1 and 2. Travis Kvapil with another strong performance here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Yeah, Travis opened up a little bit of a lead right there. He's got about 6 truck lengths on the 23 of Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson looking to reel him in one more time. Maybe give him just a little bit of a run for the win here tonight. Travis Kvapil wants nothing to do with it. The white flag flies. 1 lap of racing to go.
Travis Kvapil has it right now, about a half a second ahead of Johnny Benson. John Wood continues to run in the 3rd position, and a great run for Terry Cook running 4th.
Phil, amazing how the top 3 have spread out after they had run so close together when we restarted this race inside of 10 laps to go. Travis Kvapil, Johnny Benson, John Wood, Terry Cook, and Eric Darnell, your top 5. Travis Kvapil will win his 4th race of the 2007 season.
Good runs throughout the top 10, though. Terry Cook in 4th, John Wood 3rd, Eric Darnell 5th, Josh Wise 6th, Dennis Setzer with a great run in 7th, and Stacy Compton fought back with an 8th place run, as well as Chad McCumbee, who got the lucky dog earlier this race and got a top 10 finish.
First top 10 of the season for Chad McCumbee. His career best was 7th coming into this, so an impressive run for McCumbee. An extremely strong race truck tonight for Travis Kvapil.
Travis Kvapil was good early. They fell back a little bit through the mid portion of the race. They worked on that truck, got it better. And how about this story here, though? Mike Skinner looked like he was in trouble, finished his 13th, and Ron Hornaday has trouble. And unofficially right now, we're showing Mike Skinner with the point lead.
3 points in front of Ron Hornaday is the unofficial point totals as the fireworks begin across the backstretch right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Travis Kvapil is going to celebrate in front of the flag stand. The donuts begin for the K&N Ford. He'll ask for the checkered flag. It will be handed off to him. We look at our fast and all fast finish. Travis Kvapil, Johnny Benson, John Wood, Terry Cook, and Eric Darnell, your top 5.
Here's some radical thinking. If you want it, go get it. Like the Craftsman Locking Flex Ratcheting Wrench Set for fast work in tight spots.
Good job, guys. Have a good time tonight.
Did it right all night there. Hung in there. Did it right. Good job.
Travis Kvapil said it perfectly. We did it right all night long. Fireworks for celebration for Travis Kvapil, and I'm guessing one other driver may be celebrating. He's reclaimed the points battle. That's Mike Skinner. He's with Adam Alexander.
Man, I'm sure he wanted to reclaim the points lead by going to victory lane. It wasn't your night, but you are the new point leader, unofficially +3 in front of Hornaday. Talk about being back in front and how tough it was for you this evening.
You know, Ron and I was talking about it earlier, and he's led like whoever has the worst luck, and we had terrible luck tonight. Matter of fact, we were getting ready to blow right front, and it was just horrible. Our truck was terrible all night. It ran good for 2 laps and felt like the right front tire was going down. We finally got a caution, got it off there without losing a lap, and I don't know. We just, we got to, I think Jeff and I need to go back to what we know how to do. This newfangled stuff don't fit us very good, I don't think.
Mike Skinner, a 13th place finish here tonight. It's Travis Kvapil who's in victory lane to Ray Dunlap.
And Adam, it is career win number 48 for Roush Fenway Racing, and the 3rd of the season for this particular outstanding effort tonight. We talked to you all day long, and you said all we got to do is be there and have a shot at it. And you were right, man. An awfully strong racetrack.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, we were okay the first 3 quarters of the race, and I just couldn't run the bottom in 1 and 2. It was just so rough. My truck wouldn't stick down there. It took a little while to figure out where I needed to get through 1 and 2 on the outside, and just what a great effort. And then, you know, those guys were running, Johnny and the 21, they were running really good on the bottom in 3 and 4. I figured, heck, I'm losing my air here. I'll try the outside. It stuck a couple laps there. I couldn't believe it. Just so proud of everybody on this K&N Ford. You know, everybody helps us out. Jack Roush, I appreciate this chance, and just couldn't be happier. You know, it's going to be a good time.
And just the overall, this racetrack, Travis, your thoughts about what this racetrack and what they did to change it?
Well, it's amazing. You know, had good racing here before when it was flat. Anytime I go somewhere with high speed, high bank like this, it's always fun. And I got to say, good job, John Wood and Johnny Benson. Those guys were racing really hard, and you know, I was on the outside of John on that restart, and I heard him pedaling inside me. He about wrecked us all. So it was just great time. Just got to say hi to Greg, my little buddy, and my family back home. So we're gonna have a good time tonight.
Celebrate win number 9. That's Travis Kvapil back in victory lane here in Vegas.
Travis Kvapil in Vegas. It was his 5th start, his first victory at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll be back with more.
Finishes 12th. Jacques Villeneuve, first ever NASCAR start, first ever stock car start of any kind, finishes 21st, and Buddy Lazier finishes 24th. Pretty good effort by both those open wheel guys.
Difficult night for Brendan Gaughan, having troubles getting into the wall, hitting hard. He finishes 30th. Tonight, Adam Alexander, I believe you've got Johnny.
Yeah, we do. The 9th top 5 of the year for Johnny Benson. I thought you had him. What was the difference in those closing laps?
I don't know. It's always fun. You know, Travis is a great racer to race with, and we had a good time. So our Toyota certified used vehicle Tundra was pretty good shape. Trip Bruce and the guys did a great job. You know, we only ran about 10 laps in practice on this setup, and felt decent, better than what we had loaded. So I was pretty happy. Just you know, I thought we would have had it. When they were running with the 21 there, I didn't have any more racetrack going into 3. And then when he ran the 6 all the way up the track, I thought I'd get by if I would have had a little bit more track to get in the corner. But that was awful fun. I mean, fans saw a great race. I was really good through 1 and 2, but not 3 and 4. Travis is way better down there. So the one time I thought I had him, you know, he's pulled a little air off the side. And I was like, man, don't do that right now. But and so he got back off me. And we were, like I say, we're both good down at this end, but he was a little better in 3 and 4.
Johnny Benson, a runner-up tonight in Las Vegas, guys.
Another impressive performance for Benson. We take a look at our unofficial point standings. This is after 19 races in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And, oh, by the way, another the tightest points battle in NASCAR once again.
You know, I said at the very beginning of the show that Travis Kvapil was going to have to make something happen to get back in this point battle, and that he did. He gained 90 points, and now he's only 181 behind. He is now within reach with just a few races to go here in the 2007 season.
6 races remain in the 2007 season. Travis Kvapil's going to throw his name back in the hat as far as trying to grab that trophy at the end of the year. A lot of damage on quite a few trucks. That being the points leader coming into tonight's race, Ron Hornaday, having problems. He finishes tonight in 22nd.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward, by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's, nobody.
Under the lines once again for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Travis Kvapil grabbing his 9th career win, and coming at Las Vegas, a racetrack that he had not won at before, but with such a dominant performance tonight, it was almost decided before the fact. Starting on the pole from the front, then had a little bit of issues in the middle of the race, and then was able to come on strong at the end and have a really dominant performance. And another guy who had a great performance, his first top 5 of the 2007 season, Terry Cook, is with Adam Alexander.
And Terry Cook and I talking a little football. A big game for his Colts tomorrow, but a solid run for your race team tonight, a top 5 and well-deserved.
Well, we appreciate that. You know, Jim and Sherry Harris have given us all the tools we need to take this team and continue to move it up to a solid contending team week in and week out. Brand new truck. This is the 2nd race we put on it. We've got another brand new truck back at the shop. We're excited about the rest of the season. We're building some momentum to head into next year. But yeah, the Harris Trucking HG Motorsports Toyota Tundra was solid tonight.
This team hasn't been rewarded all year long, but tonight they were in a solid finish. Terry Cook 4th this evening in Vegas.
Take a weekend off next weekend, but the next race for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be the Mountain Dew 250 from Talladega Superspeedway. And last year, Phil, that was an amazing race.
It sure was. And you know, we didn't disappoint. We knew it was going to be a good race. And don't forget Friday, wall-to-wall coverage on speeds will include truck qualifying on Friday for that Mountain Dew 250. But if you want to see racing, tune in to Speed that Friday.
Most definitely. The city that's known for its fabulous shows put on another one here tonight in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Make sure to stay tuned. Novi Tuner Vision coming up next here on Speed. Continued coverage of NASCAR, all NASCAR taking place tomorrow from Dover, as they will kick off everything with My Race Day. It was an amazing night again in Las Vegas. The drivers came out from the grandstands. There were a lot of crashes. There was a lot of attrition that took place tonight. But the dominant truck ended up front. For the 2nd year in a row, the pole sitter wins from Las Vegas. It's Travis Kvapil who went to victory lane from Las Vegas.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a paid advertisement for The Magic Bullet, brought to you by Homeland Housewares.